the economy from those who rigged it. As I see it, class warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom. It's worth it. How to talk to your right-wing relatives, friends, and neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. Good morning to the entire world receiving our signals via the magic of El Internet, formerly known as ARPANET. Created by whom again? Created by we the people. Created by we the people. And we the people must take it back. We're going to go into a little bit about that. We're also going to talk a little bit about Kirk because I need to get some points across after the news. But beforehand, you know we have to relegate this time to the geniuses in the studio, Senor Howard Reynolds and Jacques Van Bebba. Oh, wait a minute. Howard Reynolds and Mayana, Jacques Van Bebba is currently not doing too well, but we know that we hope to see him back on Monday. Anyway, Senor Reynolds, what's going on?
Yeah, Jack is under the weather. He called me last night and said, well, I don't feel too well. I said, well, take the day off, get well, and come back. And I know that we had some phone issues yesterday, so I'm sure that Johnny and Brian are going through withdrawals this morning because they didn't get a chance to talk to you yesterday, but they can today because we fixed the phones and they're
something
ready
to look
go.
forward to.
Oh yeah, Mayana, what you got here? You got something to say?
Mainly, I saw, I'm into documentaries, and I did see something that I thought was really interesting, and it spoke about the Convention of States, which is something that I didn't know too much about, and I'm hoping that one day you can do a little bit on that because it's about like Article 5 and how evangelists have like run for to an application to amend the Constitution.
Yep.
And so it's very interesing.
Yes,
I think they would like to get rid of the Constitution. They pretty much have already.
Just about. It's interesting. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just a few more articles and we're done with this Constitution thing. We're going to run things our way.
But I think that's the thing is, I think that's like the backdrop of it, just also for it to be in writing that they're going to run it their way, because then they can do what they need to do with the Constitution so that they have, it in writing.
You get that right. I'm glad you brought that up because actually there are two ways to amend the Constitution, right? One is for the Senate, the House and the Senate. I think it's 2/3 or 3/4. I don't remember which one to come up with the 2/3 to come up with the amendment, and then thirds of the states have to ratify it. But the other way is known as a constitutional convention. Actually, that's the one that I fear the most because what you get is all the different crazies in every state. I was a member of Move to Amend. We were trying to amend the Constitution for 20 to create 28 that's going to say people or corporations are not people and money is not speech, and we had to decide if we wanted to approach it through a constitutional convention or through the Congress and state ratification. And we had an opposing organization that wanted to do it via the state convention, and we were concerned about the state convention because the state convention opens up the entire Constitution pretty much for a rewrite. And while the other one was just amendment based, I mean, there are pros and cons, and well.
But they have 28 states already who have signed this. Texas, like being one of it, to be part of that convention.
Yes.
And they practiced it already. They need 34 states, so they're almost there.
Well, those other states will have to turn red somehow. So I don't know. The idea is that for the way the place is so crazy right now, I think that's the one thing I would fight against. No constitutional convention. Let's do it the conventional way. Well, that's conventional way as well, but let's do it the conventional way. But anyhow, we are Yeah, we are in some tough times right now. And anyway, anything else you guys want to say before I get started?
No, but there sure is a lot of heat on ABC, and there should be.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Especially, yeah, the thing about it is, it's about, they claim it's about free speech, etc., right? ABC is looking at its bottom line. It's not really about them thinking that somebody's going to take ABC's license away. It's really that they don't want to upset Donald Trump because they want a very important merger. And the problem with that is, they want the merger. Why do they want the merger? I mean, then we get a media system that is so much more controlled. And as we can see, a media controlled and ready to yield to Donald Trump. A sad case. And all of this using Charlie Kirk as the, as the backstop, as the reason why they're doing it. And it's amazing that the one that they choose to be a martyr for that, because martyr he does not deserve. And I think I'm going to first start with a rally that I went to yesterday, a protest that I went to yesterday, because first of all, I'm proud of these mostly women here in Kingwood who, the above and beyond threats, I mean, they've had guns shown to them. They have had, they're not protesting with cameras on, but they are doing the right thing, and most of the people are receptive. So I'm going to start there. I'm going to play the video that I did with them yesterday. Well, some of the video that I did with them yesterday. It's about 8 minutes. And then I'll go into the Kirk thing. But I just want to give some hearings to these brave women and men here in Kingwood who are out there on the corners enlightening people.
What's your name?
Christina.
And your name? I heard that you guys stayed out last week, but you're back in full vogue.
I was here last week, but we didn't go out. It's dangerous, I think, to be only one person or very few people. I was at the Cornyn protest on Tuesday, and someone pulled up, rolled down the window, gave me the finger, and I had a sign. On one side it said, "He's not a king," and on the other side it said, "Don't be his pawn." So when he pointed the finger at me, I just kind of pointed it, "Don't be his pawn." And he said, "I could kill him," and he pointed to a gun which was at his waist in his car.
You are kidding me.
We had a similar incident the week before last.
Well, tell me your incident.
My mom and me were here. Where we were over here. Well, he came first over here. And he had like an American flag suit that he must have put on, and he had a big size American flag that you put outside your house. And he kept waving it, and he had like a march going, like an American march song just going, and he kept going around and around and around. But finally, when we were leaving, we were right here, and he had a rifle in between his legs, and he flashed it at us.
You are kidding me.
Yeah.
And they want to say that it's progressives and liberals that are violent. They are the ones that are the radicals and always bringing the guns
up. The boy was raised up in a conservative household.
Yes.
Yeah.
They probably see this as violent. This opposing their view is scary to them.
Right.
That's why they had to take Jimmy Kimmel off the air.
You read about that. Jimmy Kimmel is off the air now. And, he has to sue. He has to sue. But anyway, look, thank you guys. What's your name?
Yeah.
Did the recent bad events, if you will, give you any second thoughts about maintaining the pressure in supporting our democracy?
No. There were also kids killed in a school
that
we got no press on. And it seemed like if something out of respect for all of them, not to come last week, but that's not going to change what we're doing.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that the same day that he got murdered, there was a shoot up at another high school in Colorado, and it made very little difference on the news. So the news media the mainstream news media is also complicit, won't you say?
I would say that's true.
Oh,
absolutely.
Now, as far as it's concerned, do you think the graphic nature that actually people saw will let them have second thoughts about thoughts and prayers for people for this same thing that occurs in classrooms, but not for one person, but for hundreds of students over the years? You think it'll make a difference?
No.
You don't think it's going to make a difference either?
No. We've had photographs, pictures, videos before, like Newtown.
Right.
I mean, how much more
heart-wrenching, and it seems like what we just made ourselves. And I think, sadly, any nation, any kind of school goes into that same.
Right.
You know, it's so prevalent that it doesn't make a blip anymore. And consequently, you don't hear anything about that high school shooting.
But somehow they want to make him a martyr.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, they're weaponizing his assassination.
My name is Jeff.
I need to ask you something, though. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. Let me see what you got.
How are you?
I am doing fine. I love that. Let's see what you got. United we stand. There you go. All right, let me ask you something, because you all didn't come out last week because of what occurred with Charlie Kirk.
Right.
What are your thoughts that people have some feeling that the left has something to do with what occurred?
Oh, I think that's been that message has been perpetrated. That we are the group of violence, which couldn't be farther from the truth. All of us old hippies, everybody knows we are not violent people. We're peace, love, and brown rights. We are not violent. And if you look at the real statistics, not the ones they've been presenting, you'll see. I think they're misrepresenting us. And it was a tragedy what happened to that young man. It shouldn't happen to anybody in this country. But it did not happen from the left, as we know. It happened from somebody who had been groomed from a very young age with different ideals.
Now, I've been saying for a long time that the backstory behind this is that apparently he developed a gay relationship. And my question to you is, do you think when these people start to see reality, and because they grew up in a certain type of a gun culture, that they think all solutions then is a gun?
Yes, I think that they're so, what's the word, desensitized to what a gun can do. Even if they hunt and they see they kill an animal, but I think you become very desensitized. My father was in the military. I grew up around guns. But I also respect guns. And most of us in Texas, most people that everybody says, you carry guns. But you have to be responsible.
Right.
And what we don't want to take away people's guns. We just want a more stringent gun law so that people do, mentally ill people. Guns are secured in houses. The highest level of death among our children is gunshot wounds. No place else in the world is that statistic. I mean, we've not done a very good job of monitoring the weapons that we have loose in this country.
It turns out that shot, with the gruesomeness of what it represented, the blood, the destruction of the neck, that was visual on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter. Now, what's interesting is that left a material impact on people's mind. Don't you think if Americans saw that this is what happened to each one of those 5 and 6 and 7-year-olds in classrooms, don't you think that would eventually make a difference because they've seen it?
I don't know about that, dude. I don't know, because people are so ingrained in this gun culture.
Right.
The guns that they're using for some of these incidents are not hunting guns, and how the automatic weapons, these high-powered weapons, these are horrific weapons, and they should only be used by military and police force, not by civilians against other civilians. And like I said, it was a tragedy what happened, but the other side of this coin is he discussed violence. His violence was in his mantra. So it's very unfortunate, but apparently one group, the group that this young man belonged to, this gamer, and I can't pronounce that,
Groiler, yeah.
They don't believe in it. There's sections now that are split off that Charlie was not right. Charlie was pushing the Epstein thing.
Right.
And that's why a lot of MAGAs were not so happy with Charlie right then. And so it's very interesting that this benefits our dictator-in-chief, that now this man who was really pushing it, he had a very strong base, and he was pushing for Epstein to be released. And now he's gone.
He's gone,
and now he's a martyr. And now all of this anger is turning back toward us, the liberals.
And the interesting thing is that the feud has been between Charlie Kirk and Nick Fuentes, two opposings within the right.
All of our countries Absolutely so. Absolutely so. Anyway, welcome aboard, Professora Jacqueline Campisi from Katy, Texas, Joe from Los Angeles, California, Lisa Blair from Atlanta. Thank you all for being here on our Substack. We lose the first few dozens, but we have Judy, Do You Lie, Mary B., Susan Rusk, Professora LBW. I imagine you're in your car driving to work. We also have J. Stephen Ferris, and it's Never Happening from Connecticut. Anyway, let's go ahead before I make any comments on that and go to Tag, but I have a lot more to say. Tag, come on in.
Morning, Egberto.
Good morning, my brother. Talk to me.
Glad the phones are fixed. Anyway, I wanted to say, a lot of right-wingers want their guns to defend themselves against government intervention, overarching government. And I kind of wonder if this Tyler Robinson thing, he was kind of seeing Charlie Kirk as having a direct influence on the White House and felt that maybe this was why they have these guns, so that when they feel like there's a reason they're being imposed upon by the White House or by the government, that they can go out and do something like this. I mean, this is what I gathered from hearing your thing this morning. So I think that's a valid thought. The reason I called is a little different. There's a dichotomy, I think, going on at the top of the government, and that's if you want people able to come to work, because you got a worker out this morning. But if you want people to come to work, what you do is try to strengthen your health care programs to make sure people don't get sick, or if they do get sick, they can recover quickly. And they're not doing that now. They're taking away health care. You're going to lose all the other people that are able-bodied to go to work. They just won't be there because they won't have the support of health care. So that's a terrible dichotomy. So that was my 2 points for this morning, Egberto, and I'm glad the phones are running. Hope Jack gets well soon.
Yes, Jack, we want Jack back. You're absolutely right. And the thing about it is they're doing all the things necessary to mess with the workforce. And what that's going to do is that's going to hurt the economy altogether by throwing out all the immigrants that are working because of technicalities, by not having good health care, and we can go on and on. The policies of the administration makes absolutely no sense. So you're absolutely right, Tag. Thank you, my brother. Welcome aboard. You too. Welcome aboard, beautiful Bada Fetante from Austin, Texas. Meg Grant, Julius Kodak. Welcome aboard, John A. Davis from Minneapolis. Welcome aboard as well as Lita Bearcat from Austin. We're represented in every single section of the country. All right, look. I don't want to continue talking about Charlie Kirk, but what they're using Charlie Kirk for is something that what I tell others must be pushed back on and must be dispelled. Because what happens is a lot of stuff, if you continue to say it without pushback, it becomes a reality and people start to believe it. Trickle down became a reality that can be proven it doesn't really work. That Republicans have been better for business, it can be proven that that's not true. That somehow billionaires are smart or competent, that has been proven not true. All these things can be proven not true, but if it's said long enough, continuously enough, people start to believe it. Before I get back to the phones, I need to get into this article that I found quite right. We'll do it real fast. In the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination, this is at Common Dreams, part of a distressing wave of political violence stalking this country, it would seem that the United States is falling apart at the seams, poised to precipitate of disintegration. So much hatred, so much anger, so much toxic rock, and so many, many guns. We're boiling we are boiling as a poisonous stew. Can anyone save us? Is there anyone or anything that can possibly cool us to simmer? And least at This time it appears not. In fact, frighteningly, the rage that got us the grim, spooky moment seemed only to be spiraling. Charlie Kirk had barely been declared dead when President Trump used his killing to falsely blame the attack on the left. Trump seized the moment of widespread mourning to spread more hatred and division in reckless, angry televised speech that hurled blame at the left despite not a scintilla of evidence about Kirk's assassin or their politics. In a predictable yet grotesque display, Trump rage. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. The kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today. That's what Trump said, instead of being the healer in chief. Trump went on to enumerate the attempts on his life, the shooting of United Healthcare CEO, the shooting of Steve Scalise, and attacks ICE agents. Zero mention of the assassin of Democratic leader in Minnesota and her husband and her dog and another Democratic leader. The man who said there were good people on both sides of Charlottesville's killing by white supremacists would not bring himself to even mention the tragic shootings of people on the other side of the potential. He never mentioned all the school shootings made that were done by white supremacist guys. None of that was actually mentioned. Okay, so let's be very, very careful in what we say. Soon after Kirk's murder, Representative Nancy Mace lunged for the political jugular, telling reporters, Democrats own what happened today. Some raging leftist lunatic put a bullet through his neck. Mace hurled this profoundly reckless, irresponsible attack without a shred of evidence about the assassins. Of course, it turned out that the assassin was raised in a very, very Republican MAGA family. So those that are listening, don't buy into any of the other things. He was raised as a gun-touting MAGA supporter. That's what he was raised in. That's the household he was raised in. That's the household that produced him. Let's not change any belief system of what he was, other than where he grew up. He grew up in Utah. From his grandmother said that they do not know any Democrats or any progressives all their lives. They've just dealt with Republicans. Not that that should matter in a sense like that, but that's what his grandmother looked out the media and told the media. The places that he goes to on the internet are not places progressives and liberals go to on the internet. Those are statements of fact. And yes, while respecting that many are mourning, this is precisely the time to remind people of the hatred and division Kirk sowed and profited handsomely. So, the person who murdered him had nothing to do with the left. Nothing at all to do with the left. Consider, however, Kirk, that these guys are currently idolizing. A lot of people are losing their jobs because there is a concerted effort to get rid of anybody who would dare criticize Kirk. In fact, it's another piece that I need to play. I got instructions from a conservative group, the one that 1776, the 1776 report or something like that, that gave instructions on how to go ahead and get these teachers who say anything about Kirk fired. Okay? Consider what Kirk said about black women, leaders, and affirmative action. Assailing affirmative action picks Joy Reid, Michelle Obama, Ketanji Brown, Representative Sheila Jackson Lee. Kirk said, sickeningly, you do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken seriously without affirmative action. You had to steal a white person's slot. Is that a person that any of those women should feel any compassion for? Any at all? If that's how he referred to them, why should they get fired? Why should somebody get fired for pointing that out? Let's sit for a moment. Charlie Kirk said, these exceedingly smart, strong, successful black women do not have brain processing power. This is the supposed hero for whom Trump lowered the flag to a half-staff. Those women have to watch Trump honor somebody that said that about them, a lie at that. Let's set that for a moment. Charlie Kirk said these exceedingly things. Kirk was an equal opportunity hater who called Martin Luther King Jr. awful and not a good person, while insisting we made a huge mistake when we passed the Civil Rights Act in the 1960s. Should anybody of color feel that the president honoring a person with the half staff, when that is the way he feels about the civil rights, the stuff that ensured that people of color had equal rights in this country, yet the president is going to lower the flags at half staff for somebody like that? Remember, that is what they're asking us to do. Remember also, this guy is one of his frustrations is that he was rejected by one of the military schools. I think it was West Point or one of these schools rejected him. He is a college dropout. And these women that he attacked are women who did the right thing. They went to college. They excelled in college. Excelled, not just went to college. Excelled. He dropped out. Not only did he drop out, but he wasn't accepted by the perennial military schools. You wonder why he feels this way, right? In his gruesome rage against affirmative action and diversity and equity and inclusion, he spat out, "If I see a black pilot, I am going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified." This is some deeply racist garbage, according to this author and to me as well. Yeah. And like I've told anybody, if you see a black pilot in your plane, rest assured that you are likely to have an even much safer flight. Why? Because black folks, Latinos, and people of color, to get into these professions had to work twice as hard. I'm not saying this just because it's a statement they make all of the time. I'm saying that because I've lived that. I have lived it. Kirk called gay and transgender people groomers who are destructive. Are they supposed to feel a certain passion for him? When Zoran Mandami shocked the nation by winning the New York City Democratic primary, and again, everybody voted for him. I don't care what demographic you were, white, black, blue, Latino, Hispanic, Asian, they voted for Mandami. And what was Kirk venting? He said, 24 years ago, a group of Muslims killed 2,753 people on 9/11. Now a Muslim socialist is on the pace to run New York. Kirk peddled in paranoid, racist, and Islamophobic right-wing nonsense. He called Islam the sword that the left is using to slit the throat of America. Does that sound like a peaceful person to you? Because Kirk was so energetically prolific, one can find endless examples of his fear-mongering and bigotry. What needs to be said now, even or especially in this moment, is that Charlie Kirk mightily helped foment the rage and division that seems to engulf and define our country today. Yes, he's responsible for a lot of the hate, and he was going to try to put that hate into the next generation. People that were growing out of the racism, growing out of the prejudice, growing out of the homophobia, growing out of all of that. He wanted to put that back into the psyche of these young people. So please don't fire people who just explain who this guy was. Listen to them. Listen to them. These are people that had to feel the pain of those words. And if you can't see that they had to feel the pain of these words, I suggest you look in the mirror and see why it is that you need to see a person with that type of bigotry, racism, be honored. Why is it that you believe that that has to be the case? But anyhow, I want to play about an article that I received in the mail about how to get progressive teachers fired, and then I'll start back taking the calls on the phone. But this here must be heard. Let's go. Somebody got me on one of those conservative lists, the ones that tell you This is what we're doing today. We're all going to do this today. I want to show you something because this is very important. I got an email from the 1776 Project, and what it turns out to be is an attack on teachers, specifically progressive teachers. This is what they sent me. They said, "Hope you're doing well, Egberto. Extremely difficult. I'm reaching out because I've seen your network coverage of Charlie Kirk's death, and I wanted you to share a tip regarding teachers wrongfully celebrating Kirk's tragic passing. I have a source available to discuss the horrific behavior of these teachers the team at the 1776 Project wants you to cover." I want to back up. Here's the thing, guys. It's clear to me that they use AI on all podcasts, and anybody that covered Kirk that had anything positive to say about not that the murder was bad, they probably gave some keywords, but they didn't do it quite right. And likely that's how I think I got on their list. But here's what it says now. The 1776 Project is a PAC and foundation that fights to elect conservative school board members and push conservative education policies. They are calling out on X the teachers celebrating Kirk's death, and they will have more news on this in the coming days. Elon Musk, you see, even the billionaires involved. Elon Musk endorsed the 1776 Project handling of the matter on X. I would be happy to connect you with 1776 Project Foundation President Aidan Buzette or 1776 Project PAC Executive Director Stefano Forte. Their thoughts are below. And then here are the thoughts, man. This is amazing. We are committing dollars. You hear this? Look, this is the PAC. They're loaded with money to attack progressives. LBW, are you listening? Campisi, are you listening? We are committing dollars to texting every parent exactly what the local teachers are saying about Charlie Kirk's murder. It's time for parents to know exactly who is teaching their children. If you've seen a post by a teacher, school board member, superintendent, or public school employee that takes joy in the death, send it to us at info@1776projectpac.com. In other words, rat on your teacher, rat on your janitor, rat on all these guys that are doing things bad, that are talking about Kirk, because we're going to get them fired. We're going to make sure the community sees it and takes action. I'm reading. We're going to make sure the community takes action. Why would any parent feel comfortable with their child being taught by someone who thinks it's acceptable to kill someone over political disputes? No teacher that I've seen that have been fired ever said that they wanted the killing of anybody. Nobody said that. Well, we'll make sure the community knows exactly what to think. And here's what Stefano's statement is. In the wake of this senseless political violence that has left our nation reeling, the radical left is once again raising its ugly head, and this time we are seeing their abhorrent hatred come straight from the mouths of those who are tasked with molding the minds of our children. They are so emboldened that they will show their own faces and names while celebrating a horrific murder. This is what they're sending to the parents of anybody, any teacher they think have a little bit of something to say. But I'm going to talk a little bit about that a little further. Another one, ask yourself if you are okay with our kids being indoctrinated by callous educators who will teach them to hate all the values we hold dear. As executive director of the 1776 Project PAC, I assure all parents that we are diligently monitoring this behavior and intend on flipping every school board that allows these disgusting individuals to employ. So says the Stefano Fortes, who is one of the directors at the 1776 Project. Look, this is what I want all of you to know. What the farmers are going through, what the teachers have been going through. All of these things are manufactured angst. These things are manufactured, and there is a lot of money behind it. You hear what they said? They have the help of Elon Musk. They have dollars, is what they said. They have dollars. It's a 1776 Project PAC. They are out to get every single district, conservative board members on on all school districts. They are going to get the parents involved. They're lying about teachers. This stuff is funded. I got this email about a couple of hours before the program started. These people are funded. The attack on you, the attack on our kids, the attack on our society is funded by the billionaires. The letter alone says it, and what they're doing says it. People, it's no accident where we are today, and that is what we have to realize. We have to realize that it is on us. The billionaires have a lot of people to pay. I was listening to a pastor on either Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. I don't remember which one. And he saw an announcement for right-wing posters. So he went to the meeting, he signed up, and he got all the necessary login and passwords. Here's what they do. They are hiring a whole lot of commenters at $16 an hour. Check this out. I mean, he's in Philadelphia. They're hiring all these posters at $16 an hour. And he went and he said he took the class on what you need to do. He took the whole class. And he said, I got the passwords and everything to get into these systems. And what they do is they decide on who they're going to monitor. And they pay them to simply go in and raise havoc in these chats. None of this is ideological. None of this, well, it gets ideological when people start to believe the crap that they read, right? It's a way of mind control. But what I'm trying to tell you folks is we have a big job ahead of us, and that's what we're doing. I mean, we're doing our part, but you also have to do your part. You have to share this stuff. If you are in a store, you have to tell, if you hear people saying stupidity, civilly, nicely, interject, turn them on to one of our newsletters, whether it's mine or somebody else's that makes sense. We got to fight this on our own. This is a fight we have to do on our own because they have the money behind them. But you know what we have behind us? The people. And as you can see in many of the races right now around the country, people have been beaten money. People have, and I repeat, people have been beaten money, and we can do it. But you got to share this stuff. Tell it. You have to promote this stuff. You have to do the whole work. Absolutely. So you have to do the work. Nobody's coming to save you. It's you saving yourself. Let's go to line 4. Delilah, come on in.
So much, Alberto. You are absolutely right. It is manufactured and it's supported by billionaires. Bill Montgomery, what happened was, Rush Limbaugh died, and he was this great purveyor of hate for them. And so when he died, they saw the golden boy, Charlie Kirk. So Bill Montgomery set up Turning Point, millions of dollars, and made this guy a millionaire because he was so charismatic. You know, he wasn't in-your-face hate. He was very calm and talked to and he went from high schools to colleges. You're right. We got to fight back and parents, you've got to teach your children about what's really going on. Parents have to take time and talk to their children. Also, teachers, you have to continue to teach. What teachers are doing is using that as a concrete example about the hate that man was talking about because it was pure hate, all of us. And nobody is coming to save us. We've got to save ourselves, those of us who are critical thinkers and who really know what that was about. And the president is, and that's why they love Charlie Kirk so much, because he was very civil in teaching those young, impressionable minds how to hate. And hate was everywhere, and we beat it back. It was still simmering below the surface, but they couldn't come out with it because we had laws. But now the president is taking all of those laws away, and it's very, very dangerous out here.
Delilah, thank you. You hit something very, very important, Delilah, and I want folks to understand how profound that message is that you just spoke there. We had the law. In other words, teaching folks not to be prejudiced, not to be homophobic, not to be racist takes time. You have to develop that. You have to get a you have to get beyond how you were reared. So the laws are the ones that protect that. In other words, the law ensures that even if you don't like somebody, you have to give them a fair share because it's the law. Now we have both the prejudice and the lack of the enforcement of the law. I think you just made a so very important point. Thank you, Delilah. All right, let's go to Bruce. Come on in, Bruce.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning. Yes. Get well, Jack. And Mariana, you have a calming voice. I want to be pretty brief. There's a double standard. Trump and the FCC is threatening ABC because they said Jimmy said something untrue. I don't remember Obama or Biden threatening to stick the FCC on Fox when they let Trump spread birther lies or when they had the voting machine lies. It's a double standard. I'm going to close by today's funny. I think I'm part sweet potato because my philosophy is I think, therefore I am. I'm done.
Thank you, Bruce. Look, I want to talk about something Bruce just said because the reality is how terrible our media is. Remember that birther movement, and the birther movement said the following: well, Obama was born in Kenya or Obama was born in Thailand. They didn't believe he was born in Hawaii, but they all believe his father was a Kenyan, and they also believe his mother was that young lady from Kansas. That story, just that fact alone, should have made that story dead. A natural born American is somebody whose one parent is a born American. It's in the Constitution. And it's the same thing that applies to Rubio. It's the same thing that applies to Cruz. They're all Americans because one of their parents were born in America or naturalized American. So, I mean, the fact that that story ever got traction just shows you how terrible our media is. Because once you accept that Obama's mom is that woman from Kansas, then the argument should have ended right there, but it didn't. That's how terrible and how uninformed we have allowed our populace to be because. Let's go to John from Minneapolis.
I just wanted to say I no longer get your Substack notifications for whatever reason, but that's a whole nother matter. But I want to say that there is a rise in right-wing terrorism, and it's verified unless they've ripped up all of those records from the previous administration and the one before that and the one before that. One of them is Trump's administration. You know, it's interesting how, they just have to say something. They say it over and over and over again. This is right out of the playbook of the Soviet Union, and propaganda works. So we have to do what you're doing however we can, and one way is to call in or, talk to people around you and just say that that's just simply not true. These are the facts, and you can look those up. That's all.
Thank you very much for that, John. You're absolutely right, my brother. You're absolutely right. Alistair Waters, how you doing, Alistair? I haven't heard from you in a while, beautiful.
Hey, good morning, brother.
Good morning. Talk to me.
Okay, so I just wanted to give everybody a heads up in the radio sphere. There have been, I think now, over 200 teachers that have been fired and or on suspension for posting anything, whether it's a neutral Jimmy Kimmel quote or all-out blast on Charlie Kirk. So our freedom of speech is being attacked, and it is going full bore. We're seeing that with, the corporate media taking a knee and kissing the ring and canceling people that are getting information in a funny way.
You're absolutely right. And you know what? You're absolutely right. You're actually right, Alistair. And let me tell you, we have to have our teachers back. So teachers that are out there, don't bother posting "We have your back," because especially here in Texas, because the governor is bragging about having over 180 people whose teaching's certificate may be suspended or canceled. So there you go. Thank you for that, Alistair. Anything else, real quick?
No, just we got to save ourselves. It's up to us to save our democracy because
Thank you.
Our leaders are not.
Thank you, sis. You're absolutely right. Let's go to Jimmy, line 5. Come on in, Jimmy.
Yeah, the reason the Jimmy Kimmel show was shut down was because the Secretary of the Federal Communications Commission didn't like something Jimmy Kimmel said. He was appointed by President Donald Trump, and Trump doesn't like the way Kimmel makes jokes about him and stuff like that. And so, to me, ABC should have stood up and said, we are standing with the freedom of speech. Jimmy Kimmel was expressing freedom of speech. He may not like everything he says, but we believe in the freedom of speech, so I fault ABC on that. Of course, they're owned by Disney. And but anyway, it's all because of the FCC secretary. His last name is Carr, C-A-R-R. He didn't like what Kimmel said that night, and so he said either you straighten up now or we're gonna be tough on you.
Thank you, Jimmy. You're absolutely right about that, and that's why we're keeping it in the news, and we also making sure to protect people. All right, Bart, come on in.
Hello, good morning, Egberto. Did you ever watch The Man Show back in the day?
No.
Okay, well, that's where Jimmy Kimmel got his start, him and Adam Carolla. And at that time, Jimmy Kimmel was very funny, although he did do some offensive things with, like, dressing up in blackface to mock Karl Malone, a basketball player, black basketball player. But anyway, Adam Carolla was canceled a long time ago, and Jimmy Kimmel is not funny anymore. And, you guys are using, or ABC is using this excuse that they didn't like his freedom of speech. But in reality, it was just that his ratings were so low that this was an easy way to cancel him. And, I'd like to thank Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for helping to lay the groundwork for this, because she thought this was so funny and cool when they did it to Tucker Carlson, and now everybody wants to cancel their Disney subscription, and I am joining that. I'm canceling, boycotting Disney.
Good. I'm happy for you. I mean, it's not good. By the way, the guy's rating wasn't falling, and otherwise, not only that his rating wasn't falling as you're stating, but also I still think he's funny. But funny is in the eye of the beholder. Thank you, my brother. Have a good day, Bart. Let's go to Brian. Come on in, Brian.
Yes, good morning. What's with Jack? What's his? He wasn't on there this morning.
He's sick.
Okay, well, I wish him well. Now, you can take two genders of the same species and put them on an island somewhere with no interjection, no involvement from other people for 100 years, and what will you have? You'll have two dead skeletons. You can put a male and a female on that same island, leave them alone for 150 years, and what will you have? 200 reproductive people. And that's what Charlie Kirk was trying to discover. He was going to colleges saying, two genders cannot reproduce. I'm not a religious person, but what his words were true. And the teachers were trying to do the opposite of what Charlie Kirk was saying. And you need to look up the CHIPS Act.
I know exactly all of that. Now, if what you think, when for people that are anti-trans and people that are anti-gay, if you think it have anything to do with, they're concerned about reproduction, then you're missing the point completely. This is not about reproduction. This is about hate. Don't conflate the two. I mean, I understand that two men cannot reproduce naturally, two women cannot reproduce naturally. But you know what? Whoever the creator or whatever made humanity possible and the minds possible made a plethora. It's a menu of how people think and feel. And there are people that are attracted to the same sex, and there are some that are not. And to assume that because somebody is attracted to the same sex, there's something wrong with them, I say there's something wrong with those, like I used to be. There was something that used to be wrong with me. I was man enough to accept that I was wrong. There's nothing wrong with being gay. There's nothing wrong with being trans. There's nothing wrong with any of that. The world will continue. No problem. But the people who hate these people have nothing to do with procreation. It's everything to do with hate. And if you doubt that, watch how they're treated. Thank you, Brian. Goodbye. Let's go to Coach AJ. Come on in, AJ.
Good morning, Alberto. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, my brother. Talk to me.
When I look at all the stuff that's going on, we got an administration that hurts people. I'm willing to bet you they don't want us, the general public, to take vaccines, but they behind closed doors taking vaccines. The vaccine situation has been since the 60s. No chicken pox, nothing like that. And then they come out and say, out of Kennedy's mouth, he knows more than the history of all of this that's going on. And it's a shame, man. These people want to kill a lot of people, man.
Well, let me just say this, AJ, let me just say this, okay? The Pediatric Association, or one of those groups, I can't remember the name exactly, came out and said, tell parents, completely disregard these new guidelines. We have been successful in keeping all these diseases away from millions of Americans, and we are not going to let somebody like Kennedy come in with his false science and change things. So those that are listening right now as well, AJ, I just want to point this out. All these organizations are setting up themselves to disregard the killing policies that are coming out of the Trump administration, and they're going to be continuing vaccinating their kids as they should, because what these guys are doing will cause the deaths of a lot of young babies. Continue, my brother.
Right. Yeah, I mean, how do we, I remember getting vaccinations when I was like 5 years old, I mean, these guys, if they're not bombing people or allowing Netanyahu to do his dirt, and then you got Putin, right, uncontrollably killing people, and they said he's trying to move into what, is it Poland, I guess?
Yeah, had drones fly over Poland and Romania. Yeah.
Man, like it's like racist white men going mad.
I don't know what's wrong with these guys. I mean, Kennedy. The thing that gets me about Kennedy is that this is going to have material impact on good people, both Republicans, Democrats, everybody are, when it comes to health and diseases, doesn't know the bounds. But hey, I got to go, AJ, because I got one more call and I only have 2 minutes. Let's talk tomorrow.
Yeah, have a good weekend.
Take care, brother. Let's go to Augie. Come on in, brother Augie.
2 semesters in college. He was a college dropout, but yet he made millions of dollars. That's because he was a good spokesman for the right. They supported him. He was anti-immigrant, anti-woman. He wanted to keep them in the kitchen, and anti-gay. Another person who was a good speaker was Hitler. And last night on CNN, 2 different shows had Russians talking, and they said the first thing Putin did when he came into power was go after the comedians in Russia. He went after a puppet show that was funny. and then he shut down the networks that spoke against him. And when I talked to right-wingers, I asked them, did you ever listen to the Republican National Convention when Trump was running? And so far, all of them have said no. Then he listened when Giuliani spoke, and it was like a right-wing Nazi newsreel back in the 30s. Only thing missing was Zeke Kyle. But
yeah, go ahead.
He spoke against Michelle Obama and our Supreme Court Justice, black lady, and he said it was DEI. No, like you said, they went to the university, graduated, and they did a lot of good. But
and he's a college dropout and was rejected by, I think it was, what's the name of that military organization? He was rejected by that. And I think that is what really pissed him off, because a friend came on and pointed out that when he got rejected, they said he was always racist in high school. That's what his friend said on TikTok. And he said that when he got rejected, he accused that somebody took his spot. And I mean, he was just a dejected person. And again, this is not to justify anything that has occurred to him. Nobody deserved to be murdered. But again, he doesn't deserve the pedestal that they're putting him on, because he was not a good person. And by flying half-staff and giving him the kudos they're giving him, it's a slight in the face of everybody that he maligned. Hey, I got to go, Augie, but let's talk tomorrow, okay?
Yeah, and the FCC has good initials. It should be called the Fascist Communications Commission.
Yes, I know. Thank you, brother. Got to go. Mary V, West Point, thank you for telling me. All right, studio.
Okay, for a little science lesson with Brian, a little biological lesson. The clownfish, wrasses, slipper limpets, and parrotfish can change sex for reproduction. So it can be done, and it is done in nature. So, Brian, we don't know what we're going to do with you.
Mayana, got anything?
Mayana? She says no.
All right. Anyway, folks, love you all. Remember, the rest of the show is at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. You can write me directly at kpft@politicsdoneright.com. Love you all. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you know how I end this baby. I am what?